Hello everyone, it's Raza von Werder from the University of Mother God Church, aka my name is Kelly Everts, the lady who strips for God. On this day, which is January 19th, Saturday, I have a few things that I want to talk about, and I'm hoping to make my goal is usually 20 videos in one night. So that's my goal. Now there's a few subjects which I jotted down that I might cover. Plus I have a book that I want to read from. It's Guru Raza and Her Devotees. Guru Raza. I'm trying to hold, it's really hard to hold this properly. Guru Raza and Her Devotees. This is a picture on the cover of a beautiful girl, a model that I hired. Here's in the back, it shows her without the title. Her name, I named her Anna Karenina. Beautiful model. This picture was taken right next to my island on the riverfront. You wouldn't be able to know that unless I told you. And Guru Rasa and Her Devotees. And a devotee is a disciple. So I want to read to you from that. But I also have a few other things of my biography that I might talk about. One, the stars and the multi-millionaires I turned down for marriage. Why they were not the right way to go, even though I knew my life would be much harder without their help. God took me another way where I would accomplish certain things that God wanted me to do. Then I was going to tell you about how does a person become successful in show business or in life in general. Just how do you get to be a success? Not everyone is a success, are they? Many people are in between. They're neither a big success nor are they a failure, but they're in the middle range, you know. So I don't know how to become a failure, but I can imagine. And then again, there's success. That's what I know about because I did it. So, and I think that's what people want to learn. I don't think they want to learn how to become a failure, but certainly they want to know what is the bad way that people become a failure. I guess I could talk about that too. Okay, so that's a good subject I would like to talk about. And another one that's might be interesting that I know a bit about. What is the truth about the modeling business? And I'll talk about when I was a model, when I was a model in New York City, a young girl, 16. I was trying to be a model. I didn't become one, really, except for a couple of guys. One paid me, the rest didn't pay me. So I don't even count that. But when I got to Hollywood, I became a model, so I could talk about that. And maybe I'll start, and then Reverend Verna Talbot, my first guru. Oh, excuse me while I blow my nose. Maybe I'll start with the millionaires, because that's easy. To me, it's easy. Easy subject. I'll tell you who they were. The first millionaire that proposed marriage, that wanted to marry me, was Mariska Hargitay, the bodybuilder, movie star, and husband of Jayne Mansfield. He and I dated when I was 21. He had was it three? Yes, I think he had 3 children. One of them was named Zoltan. I remember that because he's Hungarian. So Miklos is his actual name, not Mickey, Miklos. And he had the daughter Mariska, who became a big star of Law and Order. And Mariska was then 3 years old, 3 years old. So I met him and I dated him, and I liked him. He was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I remember when I had been seeing him, I was driving home one day to where I lived, 16525 Sunset Boulevard, 16525 Sunset Boulevard in Pacific Palisades. And I was driving down Sunset Boulevard, and as I drove right by the Pink Palace where he was living, Jayne was dead. She had died in 1967. I had seen her once when I was in Acapulco. I guess she was making a movie and I was in Acapulco, and I actually saw her, and I was astounded by her beauty. I just saw her, like, you know, I was at the Hilton, I think it was the Hilton in their garden, and she was about quite a ways away, about 30, 40, 50 feet away, and she was wearing a red bikini, and she was very, very thin and very, very shapely. And I was amazed at how gorgeous she looked, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful body. All right, but she died not long after that. So I met Mariska Hargitay. I'll do a whole thing on him later. I met him, and as I was driving down Sunset Boulevard back to my apartment, I suddenly saw a shooting star just as I was in front of his Pink Palace mansion. And I knew if I made a wish that I would marry him, it's likely it would have come true. But I responded immediately, even though he was wonderful and delightful and a wonderful lover and a wonderful man, a great man. I said no to the shooting star. No. Not because I didn't love him, like him, but because I knew I had a different destiny. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what my destiny was. But first of all, he had 3 children and I had 1. I would have been at 21, the mother of 4 children. I could not picture that. That's just my logic. But on a deeper sense, I refused all the millionaires that asked me to marry them when I was in my 20s and 30s, because I knew my destiny lay elsewhere, and I knew that these guys would make my life easier, but it would change my path. And so with Mickey, I probably would have become a successful starlet and stayed in the movie industry, because I was working towards the movie industry, but I had to stop because I had to dance every week. I had to get a paycheck every week. I had to get money every week to support myself and my child, especially my child. Had I married him, I wouldn't have had to work anymore, and I could have pursued an acting career. And I was in acting school at one time, and they told me I was good. I could have done it. I could have become some sort of a starlet, maybe on the level with Jayne Mansfield. I don't think I would have been, you know, Joan Crawford or Betty Davis or Katharine Hepburn, but, you know, like a similar type, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I could have been if I were willing to give up the glamour doll image, which Jayne never did. She never gave up her super glamorous, sexy image. She could have, had she worked on just the acting, she could have done other parts. So I'm not sure what I would have done. So he loved me, or I don't know how deeply he loved me. I don't know if it was infatuation because I was young and gorgeous. He was then kind of middle-aged, but very handsome, very sexy, very wonderful. And I think he thought I was a prize, which a lot of guys thought I was a prize. And so, and I liked him very much, and so he wanted to marry me. And so my decision was no. Well, I guess I won't have time to do any. I'll just move on to the next guy, to be continued.